Hey, everybody, it's Chris Michaels. I wanted to come back and do a little bit more, as I'm saying here, more on Kim Clement's New Energy Prophecy. It's been several days since the attempted assassination on President Trump. And in the last few days, a lot of connections have started to come together. I'm seeing new videos that they're not new, they're from the past, but I might be seeing them for the first time that deal with Kim Clement's prophecies on this new energy technology. And it's something that I've known for a while, for several years, that um, his prophecies connected with something that God was showing me and regarding new energy. And this has been going on ever since the last 10 years. And I've talked about this quite a bit. I'm doing this video now because there's a combination of, um, here we are, a combination of circumstances that have uh, made me realize that we are actually uh, back on track again. And not that we weren't on track to begin with, but um, the last few years with we all expected that Trump was going to have two consecutive terms. I had a ton of dreams about working with Trump, meeting him, working with him, specifically because of the invention, the energy invention. And I started to doubt that whether those are really going to happen or not because of the way the whole fraudulent election the last few years has taken place. So I just started to wonder, what's going on. And I really asked God many times, so what's going on with those dreams? Are they still in effect? Is this still going to happen? Because, sometimes you can get a dream or a prophecy and it may not happen because certain things that needed to take place or certain actions by people. And if they didn't do that, then the thing it could derail the whole thing or it could stall it out. And I do believe some of that was potentially stalled. I don't want to get into the reasons why here. It would be here for a long time. And I'm trying to be very specific about what topics I'm dealing with here. I think this could go a little while. It could go long. Some of this is going to be review for some of you, but I'm trying to get out to new audiences. I do have new video platforms I'm streaming on or recording on, posting. And so I'm trying to get out to new audiences here. So anyway, just saying from the beginning now, I'm just going to try to cover my notes here because we'll be here a long time, if not. Okay, so I've known for several years that Kim Clement's energy prophecies uh, related to something God had been showing me. I did receive a prophecy July 2015, so it's been a full 9 years now. Especially, I think as of this week, it's been 9 full years since I received a prophecy that God was going to give me something very big. It answered a question, answered something I'd been asking him for that goes all the way back to at least 2011. And also something I started having the urge, a very strong sense that I wanted. I didn't ask God for an invention, didn't ask him for a business. I asked him for a way to make a lot of money so I could give, specifically so I could give. Very important part, not for me to have wealth myself personally, but I found out in the years since that I will have that. But primarily, I asked for the right reasons, didn't ask for myself, asked so I could be a big giver. And like I said, that goes back to at least 2011. Actually, a little before that, when I started really feeling something was there, and I really wanted to know about my purpose that I didn't understand at all. I felt like I did what I needed to with 20 years in the Air Force, and then when that ended, I was lost. I had no idea what I was supposed to be doing. Um, but I realized that was the time when God was going to really start to answer me if I would seek Him properly and learn how to do that. And then He would start revealing things to me. And guess what? He did. It took a few years, and I had a lot to learn, very steep learning curve. But he did begin to reveal a lot of stuff to me in that time. And so, anyway, that's the short version. Some of you already know that. Um, that God began to reveal some things to me that I had no grid for. I had no foundation of understanding. I didn't have a basis for. I had no background in energy technology. I had a little engineering, of course, at the Air Force Academy a long time ago, uh, and a lot of technology in the Air Force, but nothing related to energy technology at all. Nothing. So there's a lot of reasons why I would be considered a very unlikely source, which I believe has everything to do with why people have followed me in the past and they dropped off. I try to talk about this now. It doesn't go very far. And well, eventually it will. And a lot of times I did these videos, not so much for the people that are following me at the time, but as a historical documentary that that there was a history behind this. There's an origin story behind how God gave me this. I'm just going to flip back and forth here so you can see the main screen. I want to really focus on Kim Clement's prophecies. You see the picture of him there. And I'm going to get into everything else about the words you see on that slide there. So I'm just going to switch back and forth so you can see me and you can uh, see the main slide there. I do want to say that for those who remember me from the past, you might see this background here may look familiar to you. This is in fact today is July 18th, 2024. And this is a house where I was living in for several years. Actually, most of the invention dreams I ever had were right here in this house, going all the way back to 2014. And I'm temporarily back here for a series of events that caused exactly what I saw in a dream 6 months ago, a very abrupt departure from where I was in Colorado. Didn't know where I was going or why I was leaving or where it was, anything surrounding that. I just knew it was very positive. All the events that caused us to leave Colorado were very negative, extremely. But like I've said before, sometimes God uses negatives like he did with President Trump. I believe now he is going to be fulfilling what Kim Clement said about him being a man of prayer, a very bold Christian, because before he wasn't. But I think, God used a negative series of events or a negative incident to change all that. And same with me in a much different way. A series of negative events all leading up for a year and a half period, and wham, something finally happened. And exactly what my dream showed, we got out of there immediately. But a lot of things did take place in the last year and a half. So sorry I'm jumping around. Some of you kind of get the idea of what I'm saying. You can ask me later or whatever. But like I say, I'm focusing specifically on in this video the connections between all the dreams I've had about new energy, uh, a new invention, something that's going to change the entire world. And it's a global prophecy. It's not national. Yes, very much national for the US. It's starting in the US. It's an American company. I'm starting it. And but it's going to start here, and there will be massive amounts of money are coming, massive. And I've had that confirmed multiple sources, because in the Bible it says, in the mouth of two or three witnesses, let every word be established. And I've got multiple confirmations from different sources, different people, and people with dreams or just prophetic words, things like that. My own dreams also. So, okay. Let's just get into this a little bit here. I'm focusing on different things. I can't really point to just one video, although in the blog where this is going to be posted, I will have a video where there's a guy named Charlie, Charlie Jordan, who has been on Kim Clement's staff for a number of years. And by the way, I don't follow all this too much, so if I can't be too detailed about who's who and all that. But in the blog where I'm posting this video that I'm doing today, you will see that video underneath it. I just watched it last night because God's kind of been highlighting these things, and these things come up on YouTube, and I feel like now, because of the whole Trump thing on July 13th, 2024, I know that connections are now coming into play that I was doubtful about before. Okay, and that video on the cover screen, it says, "What is Big E?" And Charlie goes through and he talks about hybrid cars and the new Tesla cars and Elon. He specifically deals with Elon and the Hebrew meaning of Elon's name, which you really should go back and watch that, because I've had a series of dreams showing me working directly with Elon. And it's no surprise why. If you really understand what this invention is about, then I'm going to talk a little bit more. Um, then you see that Elon has already paved the way. He's already set the whole groundwork in place. And so when the funding comes and when God allows me to actually make this thing happen, it's going to be so fast. And just like Kim Clement said, this thing is going to be very, very fast. And that's what I saw in my dreams. This thing is going to go up so fast. If you have not invested in this, if you're not paying attention, you're not doing what he said to study and read and pay attention and discern what is going on, And that includes from someone like me, who's a very unlikely source. I'm not saying I have everything that Kim Clement prophesied, but I do know for a fact what I have is a very big part of that, and it fits completely what was said, either in the videos or I have a text description of something Kim Clement said here, and it fits perfectly. Whether there's something beyond that, there could be easily, yes, but I know for a fact I have what he said, to whatever part that is. And there might be others who have different parts outside of that. But I know for a fact I have what Kim Clement spoke about, at least going back to 2014. Okay, and there's different videos I'm taking this from. I can't point to everything. I just posted that one in my blog. But here's just a few things that Kim Clement said. He said it would be a new source. It would not be petroleum. It would not be oil. It would be none of those things. It would be something different. He even said that God wasn't revealing everything to him, or maybe later on he wasn't able to say what it was, but he said there was something new, something different. In one video, he said, people are going to say, how did we miss this? It was so simple, they overlooked it. Um, and he also said in one video that God was going to bring real Christian scientists that would not be teaching the garbage that is taught in mainstream science today, which, like I've said, I already found out through my own dreams that most of what we're taught regarding astronomy, how the universe works, is complete garbage. It's crap. It's wrong. It's the wrong. And all you got to do is go back to the original theories that we now call mainstream science, go back 100 years. And I learned this a few years ago when God started showing me dreams, confirming what is the true model of cosmology, how the universe works. When he showed me that, um, um, I began to realize that through my own study and researching what those dreams were about, that all you have to do is go back to the origin of many of the things we call science regarding the universe. Go back to the origin. Where did those theories come from? Who said them? Why did they come up with those theories? That right there, the origin will tell you a lot. It'll tell you, in some cases, everything you need to know. And why, and if you go back to that point again, go back 100 years or so and unravel that and look at the alternate theories at that time. Why did they go with one versus the other? Why? In some cases, it was something very dumb that caused people to go in one direction and not another. And it didn't even have a good substantial basis at all. And some of it, people now see, we've heard things so many times that now we just repeat it over and over again. And when you try to bring something new, which is correct, they refuse it right out of hand because all they do is just repeat the same stuff we've been hearing over and over again. And I began to realize this in the last few years, that most of what we claim to know is that's all it is. We just repeat stuff we've been told over and over again, and it becomes a list of facts that have not been properly researched and properly researched and studied to the extent to know, like I just said, where did the thing come from to begin with? Why do we even believe these things that are, like I said in a previous video, are just nothing more than Ptolemaic nonsense that's wrong? Why do we cling so strongly to things that are wrong? People will fight to the death to believe a lie. And you have that with beliefs about God, or all these false religions. People will fight to the death to believe a lie, and in the end, it is not going to work out well for them at all. But they'd rather cling to a lie rather than to use their own brain, critical thinking, and intellect, and go back and see, where did this start? Why were they even, like I said, you can unravel things from the beginning if you go back and do your own homework and use your brain. God gave you one. We're supposed to use our brain. Um, and a lot of people, and I definitely include Christians in this, they're not doing that. They're not doing their homework. And that's why they're missing a lot of things. So, okay, staying on track here, I have to follow the outline because otherwise there's so much here. I am going to miss things. Okay. Um, so Kim Clement said it would be something new. It would not be petroleum, no oil, no gas, none of that stuff, none of that. He said it would be simple and overlooked. He would say, how did we miss this? Speaking of, what people are going to say in the future, it would be millions of dollars. He even said billions of dollars for investors if they use their brain and they start and they think and they look critically and really to study this. Kim Clement really required, his prophecies required you to study and make connections. That's why his daughter and the staff they're still doing prophetic rewinds, and they're still digging into things he said in the past because it's still happening. It's unfolding as the years go by. but you don't know because he had a different way, a very unique style of giving a prophecy. He would give you a sign, and when this thing happened, you knew this other thing was going to happen. So, and I had dreams like that myself, especially regarding this invention that happened back in the Super Bowl 2019. I knew that God was showing me, when you see this, know that this other thing is happening, and you have to be able to connect those two. And I did. I was able to do that because I really knew what was going on. I was able to figure this whole thing about signs and seasons and all that and connections. And so Kim Clement did a lot with that. And so that's why, like I say, that's why his staff is still doing prophetic rewinds and still connecting the dots and still trying to decode things. And fortunately, now I realize the value of why they're still doing this, because if they didn't, everything he said would have fallen flat, and there wouldn't be that many people out there that would really dig into as much as his own people, his daughter that grew up with him, and who better to know everything he said. So anyway, okay. Kim Clement also said again, like I said, there would also be real Christian scientists that would teach the truth and not this mainstream garbage we've been mind controlled with. Okay, now I want to transition here. What I'm really trying to say, there's one main point in this video, one very main point I want to bring out of everything else. I haven't seen everything out there. I haven't watched everything. I don't watch every video that pops up. If it's not from a main source like Kim Clement or someone like that, when it relates to this, if it's not someone that has a very direct word that God gave them, I don't follow it. I don't follow people that come on and give and do videos and they try to say, well, what they think is this, what they think, and they make all these, these opinions or what they think, whatever the right word is, what they think. Well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. I don't watch that stuff. That's just a distraction. Why? Because I know God gave me it. I know I have it. So I don't need to watch all that stuff. I'm not here to look for someone's guessing games, that kind of thing. So I don't watch everything out there. But my point is that in the midst of what I have seen, I have not yet seen anyone come out and say, and show, here's what Kim Clement said, and say they have it and give substantial proof and evidence to back that up. I do, I have it. And I've been doing this for several years. I have blogs, I have ebooks, I have videos, podcasts, all this leading up for years, ever since, well, I can't go back to 2014 with the videos and writings, but it was 2014 when in April 2014, I had the first dream about the invention, and it's been like be, maybe up to 70 about the invention and the business. Specific things God has shown me about starting the business. Probably 70 dreams so far in that time. Um, Altogether, overall, I am a dreamer like Joseph in the Bible, or Daniel had a lot of dreams. Also, I am one of those. I've written down all my dreams, almost, I'd say like 99% of all my dreams I've ever had since 2014, and I have more than 4,000 dreams I've written down. They're documented. I have them documented. I can go back and research them and find them. And I have them saved in different places. So there's no chance of losing. I have copies spread around is what I'm trying to say. So I have a lot of dreams, 4,000 plus since 2014. So I have a very long history of God speaking to me in dreams. And I've told the origin story about why I started getting dreams and how I didn't know this my whole life. I told the whole story in many different places. Best thing sometimes is to go back to my blogs or go to my ebooks, because I take a lot of time to go through line by line in there and give certain details here and there. If you read everything, you'll put the whole thing together pretty well. Okay, so again, back to my main point. I have not heard anyone else come out and say they have what Kim Clement said, but I can say that, and I have the evidence and the proof of that. So, if anyone out there has something that is a part of it that maybe I don't have, I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear about it. I would love to know. Get on my website, chrismichaels.com. You see the website right there at the bottom, and contact me and tell me. But you got to give me proof and substantial evidence, because otherwise, I'm not going to believe just someone comes to me and says something. I'm not going to jump off and believe that. You're going to have to prove it to me that you have something and give me the evidence, and not just a bunch of thinly connected stuff to try to make me believe something. No, you're going to have to give sufficient evidence because I have it. And I know what it's like when someone has it versus when they don't. Some things really stand out to me because I've been in this process now for 10 years. Um, the chance of fooling me is very close to zero at this point. So I'm just saying I have it. I have a big part of it, and that's one of the biggest points I want to bring out in here. But I have a lot more to deal with here. So, okay, first of all, um, Okay, so there's a lot of things that are connected with this prophecy, either what Kim Clement said, or there are some other things people have said. I've heard bits and pieces here and there, different prophetic people, prophets to some extent. I've heard them talk about what the future is going to look like, and it in regards to this energy technology. And you've had people say things like, "I've seen myself in dreams flying cars," like things like the Jetsons. That's the future, and also, I've also been hearing recently on a series of dreams where people have had trips to heaven, and they talk about seeing flying cars in heaven, and that used something that looked a lot. It was said in the video. It was said it looked a lot like electric propulsion that we have here on Earth. And I started to realize, I put this in a podcast a few months ago. I that all of a sudden I realized, you know what? All we're doing here on earth is all we're doing is catching up to what already exists in heaven. And so if you're a religious person that doesn't believe there's any technology in heaven, I don't even know where to begin. That is wrong. Um, Everything down here already started in heaven. Where all we're doing is God is giving us ideas slowly to one person, another person, and we all together, the whole world is slowly catching up to what already exists. And God has shown me, and I talked about this in my own Marvel Dream Revelations videos and ebook, that a lot of the dreams God's given me are a crossover between supernatural and technology. Can we have supernatural manifestations? Yes. Can we have technology that are both Marvel level? Yes, absolutely. I had a whole video series, have one. It's posted on my website. Go to the store page and also in the ebook, and you can see I've talked about this extensively. So again, I have enough proof that we can are combining both technology and supernatural, and both of them already exist in heaven. That's why we're getting it down here. And we would have had this if it had not been for the fall of Adam and Eve 6,000 years ago. There's so many things that unless you hear the ancient writings and the stories, the testimonies of people from the past, which are all documented in more places than you would believe. If you're a typical religious church person, you don't believe in any of this. And I used to be in that case myself. God opened my eyes starting uh, more than 12 years ago. He showed me progressively, and I'll tell you what, it was a big eye opener, and I really had to fight with it to really get out of that dead religious garbage, mainstream church garbage, and catch up. And even some of the churches that claim to have all this, they don't have, they're very far short of, and I have a global ministry connection that I'm part of, and what we do there is way beyond most churches. And so I've talked about this before, koggc.org. You can go there and find out. And that is where my prophecy came from, that God was going to give me something very big. Apostle David E. Taylor, that's where I got this. And he and Kim Clement are on a high level, global level prophets. Apostle can also be a prophet. I'm not trying to get into that right now. But there is a rank order, and you can't get a prophecy this big about an invention like this that I've got with unless it came from a very high level person. And my prophecy came directly from David E. Taylor, Apostle Taylor. And so if you want to know who he is, go straight to his website. Don't listen to the idiots and the liars out there that are attacking him and accusing him with lies, because that's all they are, lies. Um, and I know that because I've been directly connected for 9 years to koggc.org. It's also JMMI. But I have, and you can go on my website, I have a whole page devoted to validating that. So I'm not trying to jump off here, but I got to say this because if I don't say the source where my prophecy came from, God didn't just start giving me dreams about this for no reason. No, it was because, yes, he gets started, but I didn't, most of my dreams didn't come until after I got the prophecy, July 2015, 9 years ago. Okay, so I got to give the basis for that. Otherwise, you're not going to know that there is a kingdom order structure that has to be followed. And if you don't fit that, God's not going to deal with you. And I've learned that in 9 years. I didn't know that before, but I learned it. Okay, so moving on. Okay. Um, a little bit of my own dreams. If you're new to this, flying cars, I mentioned that. I've seen flying cars many times. I've also seen global energy production, which specifically comes energy from stars. I saw it specifically in one of my dreams. The energy is coming from stars. Okay, now you start to see where I get this thing about space energy. Let me just transition back to here, okay? Space energy. Some of you are still wondering, you still don't know what that is. What is space energy? Um, and that's, let me just get to that in a minute here. But this energy production method that God has shown me comes energy from stars. And if you believe in mainstream science, you don't even know what that is because all you know is, well, there's a lot of heat and ultraviolet rays and this kind of thing. No, 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 no. That is not what's going on here. No. That is not how a star or a sun works. It does not work that way at all. And I've talked about this from in the past. Especially, I just did a video on one of the dreams I had that showed gravity as an electric force. I just did that. It was a reposted video. I just redid it from 3 years ago. I did a brand new video all over again, and I just posted that a couple days ago. So what else? I've seen light speed propulsion. Light speed propulsion. Yes, I have light speed. Light speed is technologically possible when you have the right science. If you have the wrong science, which is all mainstream garbage we're learning, you can't do light speed because all you know is combustible fuels. You'll never get there. I did a blog on my other website, the home of the business invention, Blue Keep Rocket, which you can see in the little image here on the slide. I did a blog there where I just did a very simple analysis of what would it take to get to light speed using the propulsion methods we have now. Rocket engines, the typical launch scenario involves at the most 3.5 Gs of force, of acceleration force, when you're lifting off from the launch pad. 3.5 at the most. Okay, if you go with 3.5 Gs and you do the math, it would take you from 0 to light speed, 386,000 miles per second or 300,000 kilometers per second. It will take you 14 weeks at 3.5 Gs to reach light speed. Okay, first of all, is there a known propulsion, liquid fuel propulsion or solid fuel propulsion system that can go continuously for 14 weeks? No, there's not. There's no such thing. And then once you get to that speed, then you're going to go at that speed for how long? And then you have to decelerate another 14 weeks. But there's no way to do this with what we have now. I have seen light speed travel in my dreams many times. How are you going to get there? Not the mainstream crap we learn. That will never get you there. And why do you think God's shown me a series of dreams working directly with Elon Musk? Why do you think? Hello. This this invention is going to fit right in with what he's doing. It's going to upgrade everything. And suddenly you're going to go from electric cars to flying cars. You're going to go from liquid and solid rocket fuel to this other source. And he hasn't all shown me the details of how it's going to happen. I do know some ways it could happen, but you also have to deal with other things. Oh, by the way, you can't sustain 3.5 Gs for 14 weeks straight. That is, I know I'm a pilot. I have experienced 3.5 Gs. I experienced 7 Gs in an F-16. I know what that's like. You cannot sustain that for 14 weeks. You can't sustain it for a long period of time at all. Try to get up and stand up and walk around and eat and drink and use the bathroom under when your body weighs 3.5 Gs. How are you going to even stand up if your own physical weight is 3.5 times what it normally is? How are you going to, you can't, it's not possible. And then to do that twice for 14 weeks, this is totally impossible. And then where are you going to get all the food, water, all this kind of stuff? How are you going to do that? Look at the ISS, International Space Station. How do they live out there? Well, and they're under 0 Gs. This is completely ridiculous. You're not going to fly around the solar system and you're not going to fly a big Starship rocket that I got to come out and say, you're not flying that to Mars. That is not how it's going to be. That is garbage. Why do you think God has shown me dreams of working with Elon Musk? Hello, this isn't hard to figure out. Okay. All right. So I have seen many times light speed propulsion, light speed travel in my dreams. And I know ways that it's going to happen, even though God hasn't all shown me the technical solution for that. But I do know there's different pieces I've been able to connect together. Okay, anyway, by the way, you got to get into anti-gravity because if you're going to accelerate from 0 to light speed in a matter of minutes or hours or whatever it is, you're going to have to be under zero gravity because the acceleration forces to get from 0 to light speed, and that in a very short period of time, it would kill you. You'd be like a bug on a window in no time, in an instant. You'd be dead. So you have to have anti-gravity. You have to produce your own internal gravity also. So you have to be able to accelerate to light speed almost instantaneously, almost. And yes, there's ways to do it. And all you have to do is go back to the video I just did on gravity as an electric force. I just did it. This all becomes easy. Suddenly it becomes easy. let's not get into the dreams I've had that validate that UFOs are actually real and there's a valid source of science behind them that makes them work. Let's not even go there yet. I'm not trying to be here for, all day. Okay. So I've also seen myself many times in dreams as Tony Stark from the Marvel Avengers. And what did he do? Well, one of the first dreams I ever had about this whole thing showed a combination of I'm not going to say what they are, certain things from the Avengers 2012 movie. And there was one conversation that everything tied together, and I knew exactly what was happening when I had that dream. And that was back in, I forgot, 2018, I think I had that dream. And it took me a couple months, and I was able to connect it when I saw that movie again. So all you do is put these pieces together, and you see this is the real thing. What I'm talking about, it's going to happen. And so other very common themes I've seen in dreams, besides the Marvel movies, Star Wars, Back to the Future, very specifically energy and space propulsion technology. I've seen that many times. Okay. Also, like I said, my dreams have shown correct science. Okay. Okay, now the dream started in 2014. I got the prophecy that God was going to give me something very big, business related, in July 2015. So it was a year later. Okay. I had a ton of dreams. Had at least 50 plus dreams from that time up until 2023. January 2023 is when God gave the specific details of how to construct this invention. I have it. I have the whole thing. I have it in very detailed written form that all we're waiting for right now is the money to make it happen. And this thing takes I'll just say that the entire amount needed to make this thing happen, I have it broken up into a phasing plan. A full phase one and phase two plan require $100 million to make this thing happen. And there's reasons why it costs that much. You got to have your own buildings, commercial land. You got to hire people. There's materials. There's very specific types of materials that have to be obtained, and they're not cheap to do this. And so it's 100 million total. You can get it started for a smaller amount, but once you get the thing started, you can actually do it for about half that. But very quickly after phase two, you have to have like a full building where people can work, like office building, and where like you can make your own headquarters. And as far as I know right now, God has been pointing to Colorado Springs, which is what I've been saying. And I was there up until, like I said, the series of events got me back in New York very abruptly, extremely abruptly. But everything I have in all my dreams show Colorado Springs is the place where this is going to happen. Okay, and then think about Nikola Tesla. Where did he do work? Niagara Falls. That's 30 minutes from here, Buffalo. Where else did he do work? Colorado Springs. You see the prophetic connection? I'm from Buffalo. Uh, you know, interesting connection. Okay. Um, all right. So a lot of my dreams okay, skip that, forget that. The way the design details came was not what I was expecting at all. It came in a very unusual way. I'm going to call it a Marvelic supernatural manifestation, a supernatural ability of a Marvel type, which is very highly taught at KOGGC, Apostle David E. Taylor. Very big. God's new movement right now is Marvel abilities. If you're not into that, you don't have the new movement. You're lost in the past. You got to stop repeating the stuff from the past over and over again. If all you know is prophecy, I'm sorry, you're lost. That is not the new movement. That is the kindergarten stage. The current stage where God is at right now, full sonship, which includes the ability to do Marvel abilities, which include power over the elements of creation. Go get my Marvel Dream Revelation series, the videos and the ebook, and read some of my blogs that I've posted about this. That's where we're at right now. And the way the details of this invention were revealed was through a Marvelic supernatural ability. And I'm just going to give a hint here. I'm not going to say any more because I'm saving that for the phase two Marvel Dream series, phase two. I'm just going to give you a hint. It had something to do with literal time travel, supernatural ability, literal time travel. It had a lot to do with that. And that's the first time I've said anything about that here. And I'm not going to say any more, but I do have a fully written out, very documented, thoroughly documented testimony about that, which will be in the phase two series, which follows my phase one, which is Marvel Dream Revelation. So if you get that, you'll know what I'm talking about. Just get it, and you'll know what I mean. Um, okay, so I'll just say that it was a Marvel manifestation that where the details of that design. I didn't get it in a dream. Hello, like some people get a blueprint in a dream. That's not how I got it. Didn't come to me that way. And I'm not even going to say it came to me. It came to someone else, and I'm holding some details for the right time. We're not there yet. Um, but in that new product, it's going to be in there. The whole thing detailed will be in the new phase two product. Okay, so you just need to know that this did not come the way you think or the way I expected it at all. Okay, now we're moving on. What is the invention? Okay, let's go back. What did I say here? Whoops, that is not what I was trying to do. Let's flip this over. Transition, there you go. What does it say? Right there. Space energy revealed by God in dreams. What is space energy? Okay, if you're following mainstream science, you don't believe there is a such thing, or you've heard dark energy and dark matter. Of course, if you watch the Flash series on CW, the big long, or Netflix, the nine season series, they're all into this modern science and all this stuff. Hey, I'll tell you what, it makes a great movie and it makes a great TV show series. Very popular. I really loved it. I really am a big fan of the Flash series. I loved it. Um, Minus a few things that are totally anti-biblical. I'll just say, okay, we'll move on from that. But I'm just telling you, regarding the supernatural, absolutely loved it. There's a lot of biblical truth in those supernatural abilities, a lot, which I have proof of in my own dreams. But I'm just here to say that the dark energy, dark matter is garbage. There's no such thing. That's a false theory. God showed me that in dreams. That's false. Space energy, what I said here on the slide, space energy, however, does exist. It's not that. Back up about 15 minutes. What did I say here? Energy from stars. I said energy from stars. One of my dreams showed energy from stars. How are you going to do that? It's not solar. It's got nothing to do with heat or UV rays or any of that stuff. It's got nothing to do with that. I've talked about this in other places. You'll have to go back. Um, I can't discuss the details of the design because that deals with patents that are in process. And patents are, there's very specific legal stuff with that. And you have to be very, very careful. You cannot divulge any of that stuff until you have, everything patented. And so I had God gave me all these homework assignments and showed me in dreams that there were certain things I needed to be studying, and one of them was I needed to be putting a lot of time into learning about patents. And so I've been doing that, and also corporate startup. And he gave me a lot of mentoring dreams about starting a corporation, and so I've been in the process of doing all that. He's brought connections that I didn't know where to get them from. He brought them, and it's all in progress right now. Again, all we need is the money, and I know where it's coming from. I know where it's going to come from. The person's been identified. I'm in contact with the person. Can't give details here, of course, but it's all in the works. It wouldn't hurt if we had a little smaller amounts of startup money right now, like in the thousands. That would really help move a few of the paperwork issues along would really help right now, and that hasn't been coming just yet. Um, I'll tell you, when you're a 10-year process, some things can get really, really aggravating. It can really wear you out from waiting. Okay, space energy. Okay, bluecubrocket.com. It's in the details under this video. Go there. All I can tell you is what I've already posted there. That's it. I cannot tell you anything else. I will tell you that some of the what we're doing, I can tell you that it's truth in plain sight right there. If you really study every single thing, every detail of what I put on bluecubrocket.com, I have told you in plain sight what we're doing. But you probably never believe it. You'll probably never connect the dots. And even if you could, you can't make it happen. There's no possible way. I know because I have the technical design for the details of the invention. I have it. You'll never guess it. There's no way you could make this is such specific level of details, very specific engineering level details. Again, if I didn't have engineering at the Air Force Academy, I'd be lost. You have no idea. It was amazing when God began revealing the details. I remember so much stuff that I had forgotten. I graduated from the Air Force Academy in 1994. I had forgotten most of that stuff because I never used it. I had different career fields that didn't use engineering. I wasn't involved in engineering myself. And when God started showing me the details of this, all of a sudden I remembered all kinds of stuff. It was amazing. And He gives you anointing for something. That's where you get the ability to do things that you don't have. He gives you the anointing. And I got that when I was in Iraq. I had a job there that I had no background or skills for. All of a sudden, wham, I got the anointing for it. Didn't know what it was back then because I didn't know anything about all this supernatural stuff back in 2011 in Iraq. I didn't know that. I've learned since. That was when I started to learn. And so he just wham, brought a lot of this stuff back. And I was going through the details thinking, okay, what about this? What about that? This has to be changed. This isn't quite right. How do we make this common sense? How do you this and that and all these details? And this has to be a certain way. And you have to put these things together a certain way and details for how to just put the whole thing together. And then where to do it, where to make it, where to put this thing in a building in certain dimensions, and how to there's so many like mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, which I'm very weak in that, just tell you. Physics, there's so many things involved, computer engineering, so many things that I do have to hire certain people that are experts in that because I can't do all that myself. There are some things that have to be worked out while this is in the process of building because I just can't do it myself. God's given me a lot of stuff. Um, but I can't do everything myself. So some things will have to be done when I hire people that some of he's already shown me which people to hire, by the way. Very specifically, he has shown me, not many, not all of them, but he gave me a starting point, and I'm still waiting to see how that's going to work out. Because when I approached one of them, they were all interested until I think the devil came along. I believe the devil came along and put negative thoughts in their mind, and all of a sudden they clammed up. Well, I didn't have all this stuff like I have now. So at the time, it was just very new in Colorado. By the way, this is in Colorado, and I didn't have enough of the foundation work, which I did accomplish in the last year and a half. Now I have it, but back then I didn't know. So, maybe they were looking for something. I didn't think they had any business knowledge at all. And so maybe they were looking for something that I didn't have. But anyway, you in a sense, okay, a supernatural business like this coming from God, you got to realize there's a devil and he's going to try to shut things down and cause problems any way he can, getting into the minds of people, trying to make them. He can show me someone in a dream, and uh, we're going to see what happens. But I have more than one time I've seen people 6 months in advance, didn't know who they were. All I had was a description, and the description matched exactly what I saw when I met the person 6 months later. This happened more than once, by the way. So just some really amazing and crazy stuff the way that this thing has come together. Um, so anyway, got to hire people that have expertise. I can't make this whole thing happen myself. This takes many people to put this together and operate it. And yes, and operate it. And many other fields of expertise. Go on. I have a page set up on Blue Cube Rocket, prospective employment. Go there and look at all the skills I have listed out, and you can see, do you fit any of them? There's a contact form in there. Fill out your stuff. Give me the basic. And if you happen to be one of the ones that already appeared in my dream, I'm probably going to figure it out really quick. So go on there and check it out. And you might be like, I know God gave me a very specific number about 3 to 4 years ago, gave me a specific number of employees I was going to start with. Very specific. I'm not going to tell you what it was. Very specific number. It's not a big number, by the way, not big at all. But he showed me that I would have those people. And I think, I believe they're all going to come like very, very suddenly all together. Okay, let's move on here. Like I said, I do have everything you need to know without getting into patents, bluecuberocket.com. And the origin story is on chrismichaels.com because this came from God in dreams. At least some of it did, minus the Marvelic supernatural thing that I will reveal later, which I did say involved literal supernatural time travel. I said, yes, I said that. Okay. And that's how it happened, by the way. Okay. Um, I'm just looking over what else do I need to say before we wrap this thing up. Blue Cube Rocket is the business website, the home of the space energy invention. And I do have a page, What is Space Energy, to the extent that I can tell you that. And I did give references for the scientific basis for this. Yes, you need to know there's a scientific basis that is actually fairly well known, but it's not that mainstream garbage that we learned at all. Okay, let me say it again. You must do what Kim Clement said. You must read, you must study, you must be diligent. You must go through and pay attention to what I am saying because I have proof and evidence that I have what Kim Clement was talking about. If there's anyone else out there that has a different piece, I can't speak to that, but I know that everything he said fits what I have, what I've been given starting in the last 10 years. I have a long, like I said, 10-year history with this. This is not new. And it's fairly well documented on both of his websites and all my products that I have, everything, every social media platform, whether it's written or audio, video, all that kind of thing. Okay. Um, so you have to do that. You must do that because if you don't, he did talk about, he said, investors, you must invest in this. You're going to make billions, millions, and in one place he said billions of dollars are going to be made from this invention because it's going to overthrow everything. This literally is going to overthrow all energy, global energy production. This will overthrow everything. And this will make what I said, this will change life. This is my quote on Blue Cube Rocket. What is soon coming to Earth will change life as you know it and make science fiction movies become reality. What is soon coming to Earth will change life as you know it and make science fiction movies become reality. That's what he showed me in dreams. That's what I've discovered by connecting all the dots that I've had in my own dreams. Like I say, up to about 70 now in the last 10 years, specifically on the invention, not the other 4,000 dreams I've had on personal and all kinds of other things. No, at least 70 on this invention topic right here. Okay, you must pay attention to the details. You must and read and study and listen to what I'm saying and pay attention and not discount this because you don't know who I am. You've never heard of me before and all this kind of thing. I told you, you got to have certain connections to get this, and I have them. And I'm talking spiritual connections. I have them. And most people, I try to tell people over and over again, you need to connect with JMMI, KOGGC, and how many people actually do it? Well, they rather stay in their little church at the childish level. You're the one missing. I'm trying to tell you for years. Some people don't even follow me because they don't want to do that. Well, I did. I did. 9 years ago, I did, and that's why I got this. You think God would have continued showing me this stuff in dreams if I would have said no? No, he wouldn't. He would have passed on, found someone else. You got to listen. You got to pay attention. You got to do. When God gives you a command and an instruction, you must obey. Otherwise, you miss the entire purpose for which you were put here on this earth. This, I found out, has a lot to do with my purpose in this life on earth. And I've discussed the whole structure of how to find and fulfill your calling and purpose. Your purpose is very specific. It's way up here. Your calling, as even Kim Clement said this, your calling can be temporary. It's low. It's down here. It can be this thing for the next 3 years, and after that, it ends, and you're supposed to be some. He calls you to something else. And your purpose is very high level. It is very specific, very unique. No one else has it. And most people never find it, never ask the question. You have to ask the right questions. I learned how to do that. That's why I found out. Most people never get that. They stay stuck here down in the childish level because they don't want to do the hard work. I'll tell you, if I had known what I had to do I had to put up with the last 10 years, I'll tell you, I would have said no. Just like Joseph in the Bible, if he had known what he had to do to get to be the number 2 guy in Egypt, I guarantee he probably would have said, forget this. I am not going through that hell of an experience. And same situation. I mean, not the same thing as what he went through, but I've been through some horrible, and it's been a long time, very long time. So and I explained the structure because I didn't know this. I had to learn the hard way, one step at a time. My ebook, Supernatural Science of Reaching a God-Given Purpose, that's the simple version. That's just simple. There's a lot more to it than that. And I'm in the works of, making that a little bit longer and elaborating. I like to do these progressive or incremental updates to my ebook sometimes. That one's on the list, but it's not time to do it yet. But if you have it now, if you get it now, which only in digital format, also you can see I'm starting a little Audible version of that, not the real Audible. This is just the temporary Audible. It's on YouTube or all my video platforms. Well, no, not all, most of them, YouTube. Um, so that's that's where I tell the steps I've learned, and it's simple. There's more to it. Like I say, I'm getting there. But there's a process, there's a very specific, and it's an ancient path that God has established. It's in the Bible, but most people don't know it. That's why you don't see people with global solutions. You don't see people turning the world upside down. You don't see people getting big prophecies and fulfilling them because they don't do the ancient method that God is he requires it. He's not modern at all. God is not into this modern stuff. If you follow the modern, comfortable way, I guarantee you'll never amount to anything. You'll never find and fulfill your purpose. It'll never happen. It's impossible. You must do things a certain way. I'm not the author of them. I had to learn the hard way, one step at a time. I came into this not knowing anything. It was very, very, very hard. So, okay. We are up to almost 49 and a half minutes. That's pretty much it. I really wanted to give an update. A lot of things are really coming together now, like I said, because of the assassination attempt, July 13th, 2024, on President Trump. That immediately I knew, yes, everything's back on track with him. Everything is that was said about him is going to be fulfilled. He is going to be the next president. I'm very confident of that. Again, and and now I know all my Trump dreams, all my Elon dreams, everything connected with that, this invention, everything it's all tied together. It's all tied together. It has to happen together. I didn't see me working with anyone other than Trump and Elon. I didn't see anyone else. I saw them. And, in like I said, the last few years, I started to really wonder, is this even happening anymore? What's going on? I was getting confused. And now I know because of what happened, wham, it's all back in play now and everything is lining up. The full exposures with the government, all that stuff is going to happen. Like Kim Clement, Larry Randolph, and other prophets have said about a full exposure and a whole wipeout of the entire evil system, very, very huge evil system of the government and everything, big corporations, everything. And I started learning this 4 years ago. Um, all that stuff is going to start happening now. I know for a fact it's going to happen. And this invention is global. I knew it was tied with it because for this invention to happen, there has to be an overthrow of all the evil empires out there that don't want you to know that this thing is possible, that you can do all these things I've talked about technologically. You can do it. They don't want you to know because they don't want to lose their stranglehold on all their billions of dollars from oil and coal and all this solar, which give me a break, solar. Windmills, what a freaking joke. No, they want you to think that's the thing. All these green energy idiots and all these people on a certain political party, well, they're actually kind of in both, but um, no, they're all going to be overthrown because this is all part of it. This is a global prophecy. This is a global invention. And I didn't think I was qualified for any of this, but God picked me. And I told the reasons why. I've already told why he picked me. Um, I was willing to do things that a lot of people weren't, which has a lot to do with what I said about connecting with the right ministries. I've said that repeatedly. Just a few minutes ago, I said it. So I was willing to. I'm not saying it was easy. It's not been easy at all in some ways. Like Satan himself will come and try to throw you off. And he has. Personally, I had dreams showing that Satan himself came, not some demon, no. Satan himself came to me many, many times and tried to throw this whole thing off. And I got to tell you, there were a few times I really thought he was going to succeed. I really, really thought he was going to succeed and I was going to lose. That's how bad it got. So anyway, I think that's all I wanted to bring out. We're just past 52 and a half minutes. Do what Kim Clement said. You've got to pay attention and hear what I'm saying. This is going to happen. And if you're an investor, if you miss this, you'll never stop kicking yourself. You'll never recover from missing this thing. You have got to get in, you got to find out and pay attention, and you got to connect with me because I'm the one doing it. um, uh, but if you miss this, you missed it forever. You can never go back and invest in a company that already exploded and gone off into space, which this one I've already seen in dreams. I have a stock chart I saw in a dream. This thing is literally the stock chart for this company is literally going to go into space. And I saw it was going to go up 3 times rapidly, one, two, three, very fast with a slight pause in between. And I saw this thing literally, it was going to go into space, the stock chart. And there were all these other companies that were tiny, they were way down here, and mine was way, way, way up there in space, literally. If you miss it, you're never going to get another chance. So Kim Clement said that you have got to pay attention. You have got to do it, and you must invest. He told you must invest. He's very clear about that. You must do it. And uh, if you're not connected and following what I'm saying, at least for my part, you're going to miss it. And probably because you're like, who's this guy? What's him? We're not seeing him with all these other people that we're familiar with. You're never going to because they don't have the rank. Most of the prophets out there don't have enough rank. God's not even talking to them about this stuff. And if they do, they cannot release a prophecy to someone because their rank is too low. You have to have the rank of Kim Clement and David E. Taylor. And Kim Clement, I don't remember he gave anyone a prophecy for this. I don't know that he personally said anyone was going to do this, but I did get it, not from him, from David E. Taylor. So, okay, anyway, oh, and that's another reason some of you are going to think that this is a bunch of crap because you rather believe the liars and the idiots out there attacking apostle. You rather listen to them. Okay, I get it. So you're going to miss this whole thing. I'm telling you right now, you are going to miss this. You're going to lose big time. Hey, your problem, not mine. Sorry. I'm doing my part. I'm coming on here and talking about it. If you want to listen to them, go for it. I don't care. I know I'm not going to lose. So anyway, okay, I think it's time to cut this off. This is a pretty good update based on all the connections that are suddenly coming. A lot of stuff is coming suddenly because everything that assassination attempt on Trump put a ton of things it just snapped everything together. And now, almost on a daily basis, wham, things are connections. I'm making connections with things in my head. I'm starting to realize this and that. All these things are coming together, and it's coming pretty fast. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following chrismichaels.com, bluecuberacket.com. Follow the descriptions down below. And that is it for today. And okay, and thanks for investing and donating. For those who want to, just contact me. I'll tell you how. And you got to do it. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks very much for watching, and God bless.